Now, you've all seen the road signs on the motorway. Tiredness can kill. Take a break. Hey guys, Phil here at Musician Things and That. First thing on the agenda is that I'm halfway through doing my week in the life of a musician video sort of duo series. I hope you enjoyed the first half of that. The second half will be out next week. I've gone and caught a cold, which is brilliant considering that I've now got an acting job and 2 gigs to do on the back of that, so that's going to be fun. But we'll see how it goes. Today we're talking about 10 occupational hazards of being a professional working musician. I don't want you to take this as like gospel, because this is just things that I've experienced personally. There's probably more of them. Pop anything you want in the comments below about it, and I'll probably do another one of these with some sort of crowdsourced answers as well. Number 1 is, of course, the big elephant in the room, which is mental health. One of the things that happens when you're a musician is that you tend to get the depression that comes with being a creative person anyway. It doesn't happen to everybody, but most creative people I know have some form of like depression, anxiety. Imposter syndrome especially is a huge one. The problem with imposter syndrome is that there's not really a way past it. You just have to keep getting better at the thing until eventually you might think to yourself, oh, I'm actually quite good at this, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't know if that ever happens. Personally, I've been playing music most of my life. I've been producing music for about the last 12 years. I've been gigging for about 12 years as well, and it's just something that doesn't happen. I don't think I definitely have imposter syndrome. I constantly am doubting myself and thinking I'm not good enough for what I'm doing. It's just, as I say, it's just an occupational hazard. One of the things that you can do about all of this stuff is just be kind to yourself. Look after yourself as much as you can. Get plenty of sleep. There's a bit more on that later on, because all these points do sort of tie together a little bit. Try not to compare yourself to other people. There's a brilliant Jimmy Iovine quote, which is the thing about being a musician, is that there's a reason why racehorses have these like blinders on them. Don't look left, don't look right, don't worry about what the other guy's doing, just go. And I think that's a really good way of looking at it. Look after your body, get plenty of exercise if you can, get plenty of sleep. Just look after your body, look after your mind. It's the most important thing. Now, you've all seen the road signs on the motorway. Tiredness can kill. Take a break. Musicians work at night for the most part, which I get that. Can cause a lot of tiredness, a lot of weird sleeping patterns, a lot of kind of just basic exhaustion really. Try and set some time aside for yourself to just take a break and have some rest. A lot of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about, as a lot of my friends that I know personally will know, I'm a massive hypocrite talking about any of it, because I've fallen victim to all of this stuff myself. Try just keeping on board with doing things that you enjoy, keeping up with hobbies and stuff like that. Try just doing nothing at all. Sometimes, some days, you don't have to do anything. Take a day off, have some time for yourself. Try and switch your brain off as much as you possibly can, and try and avoid burning out. Number 3 is vocal issues. This is kind of specific to vocalists, but also I suppose to like wind players as well, and just look after your instrument. Your instrument is your voice. You don't want to get nodules, you don't want to get polyps, you don't want to get laryngitis. Get some help from a singing coach to learn how to improve your technique. You might resent being told that you have to improve your technique, but I don't think you personally become like a master of anything. I think you can constantly improve on just about anything that you're doing. So get some help from a vocal coach, improve your technique a little bit. Try using vocal zone tablets. I absolutely love them, or any kind of throat lozenges that you like. Look after your voice, rest up after gigs and stuff like that. Don't overdo it, like shouting, screaming, yelling in your sort of normal everyday speaking voice, because that can really knacker you up later on with singing. Look after your lungs. Avoid smoking. I'm a smoker, so that's something that I'm a massive hypocrite about, but it will help. One thing that I found was getting into drinking honey and lemon with hot water and whiskey if you fancy making it a full-blown hot toddy. Really, really good for your throat. It's good for opening up your vocal cords. And drinking tea as well, and I'm not talking about tea from bags in a mug with milk. I mean like green tea, oolong, white tea, even like Chinese black tea as well. And there's another one, I can't remember the name of it. It's the one that's like all tightly packed together like tobacco, that's like hallucinogenic and stuff. But basically, just drink tea. It's really good for you. It's full of antioxidants. Gives you bursts of energy. There's even research to say that it helps you live longer. It can help you lose weight, and even that during the time that you're like, I don't want to say under its influence because that sounds like it's a drug, but like during the time that it's in your system. It can make you smarter, literally make you smarter. It can improve your cognitive problem solving ability. It can improve your critical thinking. It's really, really good for you. So yes, look after your voice. It's really important. Another one is hearing loss. Your ears are vital as a musician. You wouldn't be able to do it without them, contrary to popular opinion about Beethoven and whatever else. Look after your ears. Get checked for wax build-up as frequently as you can. Do frequency tests to find out what you can hear up to and what you can hear down to. I can do another video on how to do that at some point, because that's something that's I find it really important. It's kind of bad because you can watch your hearing like slowly deteriorate as you get older, which it does. But the thing is as well is when you're playing gigs and stuff like that, try not to keep things too loud. Like, it's hard because you want to really blast it out. Try not to overdo it because you don't want to puncture your eardrums or perforate them or do anything else nasty to them. Try and wear earplugs. I personally am not a big fan of wearing them because I do a lot of vocal stuff, a lot of vocal harmony stuff, and I find it when you're playing music, like, impairing your hearing can be just as damaging to your performance as not impairing your hearing can be to your hearing. So that's a tricky one. You can get like smart ones that only let in certain frequencies and stuff like that. I just tend to find that, like, I'm in a vocal harmony band. I have to hear everybody else and I have to hear myself pretty clearly. What I tend to try and do is just keep the volume down and just try and look after my hearing as best as I can. Also avoid wearing headphones for long periods of time, especially like plug-in ones, like in-ear headphones, because that can be really bad for you. Number 5 is physical injury. Now this is a weird one because I mean, I've never really injured myself on stage or anything like playing music before. At concerts, obviously, because I'm a bit of a metalhead. I've been in mosh pits and I've broken ribs and done things that I probably shouldn't endorse anybody doing because it's not good for you. But you can injure yourself. You can do your backing, carrying kit. We're all carrying heavy equipment a lot of the time. Doing like dancing and doing daft stage stunts and stuff like that as well. You can, holding your instrument at funny angles. The thing is, just be careful. Lift with your legs and not your back. That's a really important one. Ask for help if you're carrying something that you can't carry on your own. Don't be a hero. Like, I realise that this sounds like an office health and safety seminar, but honestly, that is really important. If you're gonna jump off stuff on stage, like, be smart about it, like, learn how to land properly, have things padded up and that, treat it like a professional stunt, where you actually, like, you need to do it safely. Basically treat it like your insurance isn't going to pay out if you break something, which it probably won't. Famously, and there's probably a lot of examples of this, but the one that I know, for whatever reason, is Andy Biersack from the Black Veil Brides, tried to jump basically from one pillar on stage to another pillar. He fell, he smashed 3 of his ribs, basically just shattered it completely, and they missed half of the 2011 Warped Tour. So, when you're going to be missing tours and stuff like that, you want to avoid injury. I mean, you want to avoid injury as much as you can anyway. It's not about missing tours and stuff. It's about looking after your body. But just look after yourself. Don't be an idiot. Number 6 is a tough one. This is addiction that we're going to be talking about here. Addiction is a struggle with musicians because it's kind of something about addiction is kind of ingrained into how we think about the lifestyle as musicians. I mean, it's kind of annoying because it's one of the things that gets like touted on TV whenever they want to make musicians look like scumbags. There's probably loads and loads of examples of that. I'll do a video about that at some point because that's something that really winds me up. The thing about musicians being portrayed as like drug addicts, thieves, just scumbags and whatever else is extremely damaging. And I just kind of want to make that point because like I said, it's just something that really irritates me. But addiction it can be a huge problem with musicians because the lifestyle can lead itself to it. when I find myself doing a lot of gigs in a a small period of time, I do start thinking to myself, wow, like it's no wonder like these bands like Motley Crue and Fleetwood Mac and the bands that are kind of known for that behaviour get into doing stuff like cocaine, because it's so exhausting what you're doing. You're burning the candle at both ends. You're playing gigs and then meeting industry execs and whatever else. You need to be like awake and alert all the time. And I not that I'm saying it's okay, but I can totally understand why people do it. I find like, I mean, this obviously smoking is a big one. I'm a smoker myself. I am trying to quit. I gave up drinking for 3 months because I was absolutely out of control. Like, you're spending a lot of time in pubs, a lot of time in alcohol fueled environments around people who are drunk, and it can happen. It can sneak up on you as well. So you've got to be really careful with that. Get help with addiction. If you feel like it's really affecting your life, get some help. It's an illness. It's not a crime. There's a lot of resources you can use to help you. The NHS will help, the Mind Charity, Talk to Frank, Smart Recovery, all of that. There's loads and loads of stuff. There's loads of help that you can get. So please, don't let addiction get the better of you. And the thing is as well, talk about it to your friends, talk to your partners about it, talk to any of your peers about it. People will help. They will do everything they can to help you. Or some people will. But, as a musician, I think you tend to find that you end up surrounded by people like that anyway. If you're struggling with addiction, do not keep it to yourself. Get help, because it can be really, really dangerous. Number 7, we've sort of covered already, but like poor diet and sleep. Poor sleep and poor diet can lead to you feeling really run down. It can lead to you getting ill. Your immune system starts getting into the tank. You just get exhausted. It can be really, really damaging for you. So try and keep your sleeping pattern on some semblance of a straight line. I know that's really hard as a musician because you're working at night. Eating's really hard because you find yourself like it's really easy to get into a habit of just living on takeaways and stuff like that and fast food. What I tend to try and do is try and keep breakfast healthy. Breakfast is a one of those meals of the day that you can have full control. That sounds really weird. It's like you can't control what you eat the rest of the time, but try not to go overboard on eating loads of fatty stuff and stick with as healthy a breakfast as you can. Set yourself up for the day, even if you eat it at like 2 in the afternoon. Set yourself up for the day with something healthy. Try and set yourself some time aside during the day and in the evenings to cook for yourself and your partner or whoever you live with. Cooking's really good for you. As a musician, it can be a really good creative process. You get control over what goes into your food, and it's fun. And it's, I worked as a chef for quite a few years, so I maybe have a slightly different perspective on it. But then again, see, working as a chef is one of those things where you end up with poor eating habits and poor sleeping habits. And I've seen too many people get run down, get ill, fall to addiction, and basically just screw themselves up with bad diet and bad sleep. Keep your batteries charged. If you're not sleeping enough, try and put some time aside to like have a nap or even just have a lie in. Nobody's going to judge you for it. We give sanctimonious morning people far too much power. The people who get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go for runs and stuff like that. You don't have to live like that. You're a musician. You work at night. So you're getting home at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Just look after yourself. Try and get as much sleep as you can. Number 8 is kind of an occupational hazard, but it's also self-inflicted. Is arrogance. It can start creeping in if you don't check yourself. You need to keep an eye on what's going on with you. You need to be thinking all the time, would an industry executive appreciate me behaving like this? Whatever you're doing. Arrogance is one of those things where you can get into a headspace where you start to become arrogant, self-centered, becoming too full of yourself. You start alienating your friends. I've been there. I know a lot of musicians who have been there. It's always a dark time in your history that you try not to remember if you possibly can. But just stay humble. Try and be nice to everybody. Have a positive mental attitude. Talk to people around you. Be conversational. Support each other. Support your friends. Support other musicians. get involved with what other people are doing, and just don't be a dick about it. Don't be jealous. Don't be bitter. If you can avoid it, it's hard sometimes because you see somebody doing better than you, and you think, but as I say, it's like blinders on. Just keep going. Play your own game. Keep your head down. The thing is, the music industry is run by nice people, as a rule. I know there's a huge amount of exceptions to that, but in my experience, it's run by nice, kind of nice, creative, understanding and caring people, and they're spending sometimes upwards of 12 hours in the studio with somebody, like in a recording studio with someone. You don't want to spend 12 hours in a recording studio with somebody who's a dick. You just don't want to do it. Musicians who aren't as good at what you do, but who are nicer people, will get the job before you do. Or they'll take the job away from you. Through no fault of their own, they'll get hired by somebody. If you want the job, be nice. Okay, I saw a lecture. I was lucky enough to see a lecture with Neil Davidge, who is the producer from Massive Attack. He produced the Mezzanine album. Amazing producer, one of the finest the UK has to offer. He's absolutely brilliant, and he's an absolutely wonderful person in the industry. And he also probably knows who Banksy is, which is really cool. He said the biggest piece of advice that I can give young musicians coming up in the industry is just don't be a dick. It's very, very simple. Just don't be a dick. The thing is that your ability to do whatever it is that you do is what's going to get you into the room. Your attitude is what's going to keep you there. So stay humble, don't be a dick, keep yourself grounded, surround yourself with people who keep you grounded, and just try and be nice. Number 9 is unstable income. Now this is one that I think it varies hugely from case to case. You get some musicians who work part time, like myself. I do a little bit. I've got a couple of side hustles that I keep up with just to supplement my income, because gigging will pay the bills, but only just. And regular work can be really hard to find. I get that. It is worth it to be a musician, to be working in the industry. It is worth taking the hit to your finances. It is worth it. Just keep an eye on your finances. If you're self-employed, or if you're thinking about going self-employed, then learn how to keep your books properly. Learn how to work your taxes. I can do a video about all that at some point if you want, because I know about all that because I've been doing it for a while now. I have a little bit of work that I do for a guitar distributor a couple of days a week. I also do a bit of work with a catering company, doing front of house and chefing part time. Just little bits here and there that help to supplement my income. Look after your bank account. Try and find something like that where you can just turn up and do something that pays you a little bit of extra money if you're not making enough money from gigging. You don't have to think about it as losing the game, because I've heard a few people say that. I'm just oh no, I can't go off and do something else because I'll lose focus on playing music, and sometimes you won't necessarily. You might, if you think you're going to, then it's absolutely up to you. It's totally your choice. The thing is, anybody who has the courage to quit their day job and become a musician, I have the utmost respect for. I think that's great that you have the courage to do that, and I wish you the absolute best of success with it. But yes, look after your bank account, because unstable income can be a problem, and it can put some serious strain on your personal relationships and on your mental health. Number 10, which I've just sort of covered a little bit, is personal relationships. Personal relationships can suffer a lot with being a working musician, for pretty much all the reasons listed above. Try and keep your friends and family close. Try and keep people around you who make you feel good and who make you feel grounded. There's not a lot I can really say to help anybody with that particular one, because obviously every situation is different. But just be aware that this is something that can really affect your personal relationships. So just keep that in mind when you're playing music for a living. And that's it. That's 10 occupational hazards of being a musician. This is my first kind of list video. Well, it's not. I've done I used to do movie reviews and stuff like that, so we'll do 10 best things about the Star Wars movies or whatever else. If you'd like to see me do some lists, I can do some lists. I'm thinking of more things to do lists about because I like lists. Lists are good. Lists are fun. And I'm going to be doing a few more of these videos. I'm hopefully going to improve my setup a little bit, because at the minute it looks a bit sort of thrown together. But I've got the sound sorted out. I've got the lighting sorted out a little bit. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of my videos. So please remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little dingly bell for notifications about more videos. Remain indoors, have a pleasant apocalypse, and I'll see you in the next one.